The snap. Flacco. Juggled. Intercepted. DJ Turner off the deflection. Takes it away for Cincinnati. And takes away the opportunity for the Cleveland Browns.
The first game of the year. The offense laid the deuce. Joey was frazzled and he ran for his life. Boy, did Miles bring the juice. And 3 sacks in a row, with the lead slipping away. Browns went downfield behind Joey Flacco. Then a guy named Andrew Size of Mitts made the third souffle. But I remember what the pundit said, that our defense would be even worse. I remember that Shamar almost didn't sign, but man, how the D came together in time. A win's a win. In Cleveland we got the win. Well, I puked and I cried, but I gained some pride from the win.
Welcome to the Dadio and Bengals Podcast. I'm your host, Dadio and Dr. I'm joined as always by Dr. Hodgie, Dr. who just sang that beautiful song that summarized the Cincinnati Bengals' win over the Cleveland Browns, which for a lot of people was a sort of disappointment. But in the reality, they did what they couldn't do last year, which was they played defense, they got the close game, they had things go their way in the end. And so we are very happy on this show.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy. And, you know, and I owe a few people an apology. Number one, and I think we all do that, yo.
Yeah.
Number one is the Cincinnati Bengals defense, because we spent the entire summer trashing them. I came up with the word shamard for when you are shortchanged for something, if you remember. That was trending socially.
Yeah.
I was putting down shamar left and right.
On Blue Sky, yeah.
On Blue Sky. And I regret those actions. I do.
Right.
Because the game I saw
He's great.
was a
Shamar's
game
great.
where the Cincinnati Bengals defense saved the day. And Zach's play calling.
Well, that's where I disagree with you. But Shamar, look at this. Shamar Stewart, okay, was the 4th highest graded rookie in week 1. I want to remind you that Shamar Stewart was supposed to be a long-term project, not a guy who's great right out of the gate. And guess what? He's been great right out of the gate. And you know what it looks like? It looks like this. The man had a 26.1 pass rush win rate, which was the second among rookie defensive linemen for that week. And it would have led the entire NFL, all the NFL, in pass rush win rate if he held it up for all of last season. So in other words, that's about as good as it gets.
About as good as it gets.
3 quarterback hurries, 41.7 positively graded play rate against the run. He was good against the run too.
Okay, but
he was good against the run, which we saw in that play. Yeah,
he was. Yeah, you want to keep talking about Shamar, because I got more to say about the defense.
Because the thing about Shamar is that he also, look at the defensive grades. His 80.6, it was the best of all these guys on this list. And then I want to talk about this, that a big thing for Trey Hendrickson is that Trey Hendrickson had an amazing game, 41.7 pass rush win rate after not playing for the entire since January. But guess what? These guys are feeding off each other. You have two guys,
but in a good way. Not where they're eating each other.
They're not feeding. Yes, they're not eating each other.
They are.
No.
Yes.
Feeding off. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And and so very impressive stuff from him and the defense as a whole, which we can get to in a second. Yeah.
And let's get to that in this second, because it wasn't just Shamar. It wasn't just Trey. Trey was amazing. Trey is breathtaking.
But let's look at some clips of Shamar. Yeah. So
because
good.
It was really just Shamar.
It was a lot of Shamar. Look at this guy. I mean, look how fast and look how long his arms are. Do you see how much he disrupts?
I've always been a fan of the long arms. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at how he's just always. They have to look at him throw that guy. That was crazy. Shamar is going to be. I don't know how to explain this. Shamar is going to be one of the top defensive players in the league.
And it's weird to have him right there next to Trey. And the thing was, we weren't supposed to have Trey.
No, we were not.
Right? We sent the tray back to the kitchen. We said,
Right.
no, this has meat on it. I don't eat animals. And yet the tray came right back to our table.
He did.
They took the meat off. They made a good deal. And
was
we
amazing.
have tray. And it wasn't just that. The
It wasn't
game
that,
would
it
have...
was TJ Slayton. I mean, look at the
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The game would have been lost.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm still talking about defense.
Without TJ Slayton, I'm saying, look at TJ Slayton. Look at how
Look
much
at his
like DJ
energy.
Reader used to
Yeah.
fill the middle.
Yeah.
Finally, we got a guy who
Like
look
a
at the
Twinkie.
look, stuffing the run. Look
Yeah.
at that.
You gotta
We are
stuff it.
stopping the run, stuffing it, stopping it,
Yeah, like
snuffing it out.
Yeah.
Every play, we just
Sniffing
like
it.
the 98 that we had with DJ Reader. This guy is filling in the gaps. And he's letting the other guys make plays, like Logan Wilson, like rookie Demetrius Knight, who had 10 tackles, which is the most tackles by a rookie since they started counting in 1991. Did you know that? Since Keith Rivers in 2009, I believe.
Have you
that is
not
the
been
most.
taking your Adderall?
Well, I just
So
well,
here's the other
but
thing.
I want to point out this. Look at the rushing stats. 2 yards per carry. The Cleveland Browns, who used to always run it down our throats, 2 yards per carry, 24 carries, 49 yards, only 2 yards. That is amazing. It's the
Yes.
opposite of what we were last year. But you were saying, go ahead.
I mean, put differently, the Browns were quite stoppable. I mean, that's the thing. They were very stoppable. And that's what you want to see.
Our defense
But
was great.
our
and
defense
we didn't
was
even
great, but
mention BJ
more-
Hill. We
Yeah.
didn't mention BJ Hill.
Well, I have
and
other
how-
things to mention, but go ahead, please
But
talk
I mean,
about
look
the
at
BJ.
BJ Hill had a big time game.
Yeah.
The guy was getting penetration.
It's the kind of game you want to have. You want to have a big time. You don't have a
You
small
want to have
time
big time?
game.
No. I mean, look, these guys were fighting. They were out to prove something. After the game, they came to Joe Burrow and they said, "We got you this season. This year, we got you." In other words, you don't have to be carrying us every game. You don't have to be a superstar every game. We are going to
Got you.
do our parts.
We're
We
gonna
got
got
you.
you.
We're gonna got
Yeah,
you.
and that's what you want to hear. But listen, the game would have been lost. Everything would have been lost were it not for those 2 interceptions. And both of those interceptions, each of them, they were not technical interceptions. They were just an amazing amount of awareness, an
Yes.
amazing amount of speed,
Yes.
being in the right place at the right time.
Agreed.
It's like those guys knew the ball was going to bounce. Each interception looked the same, Dadio.
It did.
And-
but you
and-
know what
and-
does not look the same is our backgrounds. But go ahead.
Well, and our backgrounds don't look the same, but those interceptions look the same. And the thing was, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Everybody throughout the year was telling me that poor Joe Burrow has to put up with this horrible defense.
Right.
Poor Joe Burrow is on this horribly coached team.
Ridiculous.
And yet the problem, if we're being honest, on
Exactly what
Sunday
we're calling. Yeah.
was Joe Burrow.
Well,
Joe Burrow was frazzled. He was bedazzled.
Well-
He looked like he had been over-traveled. I think that they might be hiding an injury. That's one theory that is floating around the bend.
no.
But whatever your theory might be, Joe couldn't complete the pass. And you might blame the offensive line, but I don't. Because there were times when he had a few seconds, but he couldn't use them. He didn't even look like he knew where he wanted to pass. And you might say, oh, the Browns secondary, so good. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Are they that good?
Let me ask you
Are they
something.
that good?
Joe
Are they
Joe
better
Burrow is
than any other?
Joe Burrow is one player, okay? And did you know that in the second half, the Cincinnati Bengals had a total of 7 yards offense? You're going to put all that on the quarterback?
I am.
It's
I'm
the
going to put it all on
fewest yards
Joe
in the
Burrow.
second half by a winning team in the last 25 years. The Bengals had no offense, and you cannot blame Joe Burrow when we have this thing called the running game that you're supposed to use when the passing game is not working. And we had like the first drive, Chase Brown looked great, and then after that, the running game was not good. It was too predictable. It was too slow developing. And Joe Burrow, when his receivers are getting hounded by the defensive backs or they're not, everything's not in sync yet, it's the early season. Well, guess what? What's he supposed to do? He can't. There's nowhere to move with Myles Garrett giving him 2.1 seconds. maybe.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Let me just get one thing straight.
Yeah.
So the nastiest defensive line, the most difficult defensive line in the NFL belongs to the Cleveland Browns?
I don't know about that. The nastiest player, Myles Garrett, is the best.
No.
player.
We're not going to talk about players. Are you telling me that the kind of performance I saw Joe Burrow do against the Cleveland Browns,
Right.
the Browns, mind you,
Yes.
would be worse if he played a better team?
I don't follow you, but I will say that
What
Joe
I'm
Burrow-
saying is, you're saying that the reason Joe couldn't play
Yeah.
was because he was going up against a formidable opponent. I'm saying that formidable opponent was the Cleveland Browns.
They're very good defense. They match up with us well. Their defensive backs and their defensive line match up with us as well as any defense. I'm not saying they're the best defense, but they're maybe the best defense to play us. Yeah.
Okay, well let's entertain an alternate theory.
Okay.
The reason
But I want
the
to remind
Bengals-
you, we have a special guest coming
Okay,
on
wait,
in 2
let me
minutes.
just do my theory.
Yeah.
The reason the Bengals have not won a first opening day game since 2021
Yeah.
is because of Joe Burrow.
No. But
Because Joe Burrow is never ready.
Let me just say something. I want to point something
He is
out.
late to the game.
I want to point out how
He
lucky,
needs the pressure.
I want to point out how lucky Zach Taylor has gotten over
No.
the years. Okay? No, listen.
Joe Burrow's lucky
listen,
to have Zach
hold on.
Taylor.
Do you agree Alan was a great defensive coordinator?
He was okay.
He was great for us.
but
Okay.
then he
Do you
stopped
know?
being
Do you
great.
know that? Well, I disagree, but I think he didn't have the personnel. But listen, do you remember that he was like Zach Taylor's 5th choice or something, and he kind of just picked him because he didn't know anybody else. He like
That's not true.
his phone. That's true. But listen,
5th choice out of
no, but
550.
listen,
I mean,
and
he still picked him.
then hold on, and then he loses Lou Anarumo. He gets Al Golden back.
Yeah.
Who basically the Bengals just knew because he was the linebackers.
Well,
coach.
hold on,
This
hold
guy,
on, hold on.
This guy, Al Golden, hold on. This guy is brilliant. Do you know? Remember in the preseason where the defense looked terrible? Everybody's like, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to show you what we're going to do. And then we saw the defense look brilliant. It's strategic. Like they were so. And then he actually said, listen to this. Let me read the quote. He said, obviously, when you do what we do in preseason, which is not show anything that we showed yesterday, that's difficult. That's a good choice that we made, and I think that helped us yesterday. I really do. But it was hard for those guys to go through that. It's because it lingers. It doesn't go away. It lasted 3 weeks. So that was tough. But I think that they had the resolve. In other words, he was
I still have
tricking
something to
everybody,
say.
and it's brilliant.
I still have something to say.
And he just, Zach Taylor has these great coordinators around him.
Okay.
And then he gets, look at Brian Callahan, who Zach Taylor, he was his guy. And he thought this guy's so great, Brian Callahan, right?
Yeah.
And then he's forced, when Brian Callahan leaves for a head coaching job, to make Dan Pitcher the offensive coordinator. Dan Pitcher's way better. You remember last year, the play calling was way better.
Surprise. Everybody
And then-
who works for Jack Taylor is great. Well, what do you think is the connecting factor?
Okay. So here, I want to just show you a clip of Brian Callahan to show you the kind of guy that he valued and he thought should be the offensive coordinator. Here you go.
Consider a challenge on the aisle manner play where they moved out of bounds.
Actually, first some context. So Brian Callahan, basically, his player, landed with the elbow inbounds on a very critical play, which should have counted. He was inbounds, and he should have challenged the play, but he didn't challenge because he didn't know the rule.
Consider a challenge on the aisle manner play where they moved out of bounds on the sideline and it looked like his elbow hit inbounds first. On Tuesday.
Yeah, you got to get a foot inbounds too, which we didn't have a clean look at whether his foot was down as well. An elbow doesn't equal 2 feet, so his foot would have had to come down as well. We didn't have a clean look, so the call from upstairs was that it wasn't worth challenging.
Okay, so this guy does not even know the rules. If you ever think, wait, Zach Taylor,
Why do you guys football idiots do these things? No offense. I mean
No
that with
problem.
love.
Yeah,
It's
of
always
course.
you take one little mistake that the coach makes.
What did the mistake? He doesn't know the rules, and he was Zach Taylor's
Who
guy.
knows the
Zach
rules?
Taylor
I mean,
probably
there's so
doesn't
many
know the
rules.
Okay,
Nobody
listen.
knows all the rules to
Listen,
football. The
think-
referees sometimes mess up on the rules. It's not coaching is not about rules. It's managing.
Do you see P. Crowley?
a team.
P. Crowley knows more about football than
It-
the so-called analyst
listen,
on my show.
listen,
He
listen.
said, "Wow,
Hold on. You've got okay.
Listen.
You know, am I ever going
We
to
have
get
a
to
guest.
talk?
We have a
No,
guest.
I am on this show too. I got to talk.
Okay, go.
You've got like I don't know what you got like 50 grown men, all of them prima donnas, and none of them want to work hard, but all of them want to win and be a star.
Yeah.
And now you've got one person in charge of the whole production. Different coaches come in, assistant coaches come in, different assistant coaches come out. But at the end of the day, it's the head coach who manages the team. And I tell you what, that Zach Taylor has managed this team better than almost any other coach in the NFL. And
Except
he
when
managed
it
this
comes-
game. He managed this game against the Browns. And I tell you what, a lot of people said about Al Golden, who is this guy? He just has a pretty name. But he proved everybody wrong, didn't he?
Okay, 7 yards for the offensive guru in the second half, and you're saying that he managed the game. Okay, listen, no more arguing. I want to bring in our very, very, very special guest, my good friend, old friend of the show, Mr. James Johnson.
James.
Mr. James Johnson is the most knowledgeable guy about the Jacksonville Jaguars out there, and he has a very special podcast on the Jaguars.
Are you
Welcome
coming
the
to
show.
us from Jacksonville, James?
I am actually from Albany, Georgia, which is
Okay.
like 3.5 hours away from Jacksonville. But I live so close to Jacksonville that when I was a kid, right, they used to show the Jaguars games, even though I lived in another state. They used to show the Jaguars games on NBC at that time. I'm probably showing my age because the Jaguars don't show on NBC anymore unless it's Sunday Night Football.
Well, you
But
look
yeah,
about 17. Is that about right?
I'll take it. Yeah, that's about right. We'll go with 17. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Wow, very impressive.
Well,
Because he's been
we-
podcasting
you-
since about 8 years old then. I
You wouldn't be the first miner that we have hired on this show.
Right. Well, Mr. Johnson, so happy to have you on the show.
Happy to
We
be back.
really, otherwise, I'm going to be honest with you. Some people on the show, all they know about the Jacksonville Jaguars is that the quarterback has beautiful, long, flowing hair, and that's about it.
Beautiful hair, mind you.
That's about all they know. And I don't want to
Goldilocks.
name names, but
No.
some people on the show, that's all they know.
That's
we
all
need
they ever
someone
talk about.
on the show.
James Johnson, may I ask
Yes.
you a question?
Sure. Go
Give
right
me
ahead.
3 reasons that you are absolutely sure the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to beat the Bengals this week. 3.
Well, you know what? It's the Jacksonville Jaguars, so we can't guarantee anything on our end.
Well, I was
But
hoping
no,
to get
3
you to-
reasons I think
Okay.
they could win. Okay,
Could
the
win.
Bengals
Okay,
start
we'll
slow.
temper it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's always that the Bengals do start slow. Early
Number
in
1,
the
Bengals
season.
start slow.
Yes. They are coming off a time in which they have a good amount of momentum where they actually beat the Carolina Panthers like they should have, right? And
Right.
in the past, we couldn't say that. Even the teams we were supposed to beat, it was a 50-50 chance that we would or would not beat them. So they're coming off a win where
Number 2.
they have some strong momentum. And number 3 is they are pressuring the quarterback well. And when I initially watched the game, I had to go back and watch it because initially it didn't feel like they really affected Bryce Young like I initially thought. But the
Right.
more I watched the game, they got to the quarterback, even though they only came away with 1 sack. They had a lot of pressure on Bryce Young. And, that's significant because I did read, if I'm not mistaken, you all have a guard that is on the injury report that won't be able to play. So
Right.
when considering that and looking at, the Browns game and how they were able to affect the pass rusher, I think that bodes well for the momentum our defense has.
Well, those are 3 solid reasons.
Well, actually, I love those reasons.
I'm convinced.
I love them, but because James is a beautiful man with amazing insights. If you're referring to the guard you're referring to is Lucas Patrick.
Lucas
Is that who you're
Patrick,
referring
everybody knows
to?
that, yeah. We
So
already
Lucas-
knew that. We didn't have to say his name because James and I both knew that. Go ahead.
Right. So what happened is Lucas Patrick signed with the team in the offseason. Underwhelming signing. He looked terrible in the entire offseason.
Who doesn't look
And then-
terrible in the offseason?
Well, anyways. And so then the Bengals, right before the season started, they added Dalton Risner.
Right.
Then Lucas Patrick goes down with an injury, and guess what?
What?
Dalton Risner, the guy they wanted all along, he comes in and he dominated. He was amazing. Look at that. He took 2 guys on. This one, I think he takes, 1 guy on. Okay? This guy was everything we thought he would be and more. And
That looked
this
like
was this was his first ever game playing with Joe Burrow. He didn't play in the preseason or anything. He joined right before the season started. He looked more than fine. And so in a way, it's a blessing in disguise. Lucas Patrick, obviously, may he rest in peace. And our prayers go out to his family, and we're very concerned about him. But him getting injured was a great blessing for fans of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, so now you just have 2 good reasons then.
Yeah.
And that's all we need.
But
Hey,
the
Jackson-
2 reasons is good enough. We'll roll with 2.
A little bit of history. The Jacksonville Jaguars used to be the Oilers. No.
Jacksonville Jaguars used to be non-existent.
Right. They were expansion team.
Right.
You know, we get that a lot. Yeah. we get that.
The
It
Tennessee
feels like the
Titans were
years
like this.
that we have been around. Sometimes we still feel non-existent. But no, I'm here. I got a bat for my team, though. I can't do that to them.
You
but
guys have like the coolest owner, right? He's a cool guy.
He's got the mustache. Yeah.
yeah. One of
Yeah,
the best mustache in football, right?
He gives off some Dadio vibes.
Well, I mean, look, I can't compete with that. He's used that mustache to make a lot more money than I have on this show.
James,
But-
question for you.
yeah.
Now, every time I drive through northern Florida and southern Georgia, I see signs for pecans. Or is it pecans? That's my question.
So
Pecans or pecans?
It's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Here in South Georgia, my neighbor is a pecan farmer, and I call them pecans, by the way. Yeah,
Oh,
he
both
has an
were on.
orchard. As a matter of fact, like I'm looking out the window right now, his orchard is like out the window.
And they grow on
Literally.
trees? Pecans?
Yeah, pecan trees, and yeah, I used to actually my granny owned the farm, and she had a pecan grove too. So yeah, some of the best stuff. Like you ever had pecan pie? Next time you come to Georgia
Yeah.
or Florida, buy a
Yeah.
pecan pie, and
I
it's
will.
different than anything you've ever experienced.
It's
Try it.
hard to believe that
Well-
pecans, they taste so good, it's hard to believe they grow on trees.
Yes,
Right?
they do.
I mean, they're so good.
This is, I just want to
They're
say,
so good. But
fascinating discussion.
James,
fascinating discussion.
another question for you, James.
Yeah.
Who do you think was to blame for the performance offensively that you saw with the Bengals last week against the Browns? Zach Taylor or Joe Burrow? And you won't hurt my feelings either way.
But did you watch the game?
Well, that's what I was about to say. So today is my day for film study on the opponent. So I haven't watched the Bengals yet.
Yeah.
I just got off from work, but I will check them out, and I'll give an assessment. I'll definitely
Yeah.
shoot you all a tweet on what I think was going on there.
Love it.
And we will retweet it.
We'll do the-
Though,
but listen,
though my Twitter is blocked.
it's blocked.
Yeah.
But I'll see it. But listen, and he'll see my retweets, and that's about it. But listen, Mr. Johnson. Okay, here's what I want to do. You study film, you know things.
Yeah.
You know enough about the Cincinnati Bengals, even though you didn't see the game on Sunday. But how did these teams match up? What places can the Bengals exploit the Jaguars? And it's not like, look, it's not like any members of the Bengals organizations watch the show and they're going to take your little insider information and use it. It's just
yeah.
for entertainment. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think like one thing that the Bengals could exploit them in doing is simply by being the more mature team. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure if we put them on paper head to head and we did an average on age, the Bengals, which I'm not saying the Bengals are an old team, but they're probably older than the Jaguars because the Jaguars are a pretty young team. And it showed they had a abundance of penalties. Despite beating the Carolina Panthers how they did, they had an abundance of penalties. And if the Bengals can capitalize on those penalties, unlike the Carolina Panthers did, it was our opening drive, we had like 3 penalties. It still came away with 3 points somehow. Don't ask me how, but it's because I guess it's the Panthers we were playing. But
Yeah.
I think the Bengals are more veteran savvy enough to take advantage. If we have 3 penalties in one drive, we're not coming away with points. No. And we might have terrible field position too at the end of the drive. So that being said, if the Bengals are the more mature team, which they, you know, on paper they should be, then they will be able to take advantage of the areas that Carolina was not able to take advantage of. And also too, in that fourth quarter, the Jaguars had a bunch of penalties in the fourth quarter too. Like the score makes it look a little more lopsided than it was, but it's just the simple fact. And I don't want to like knock the Panthers, but the Panthers just weren't able to take advantage of the penalties that we had.
Well, I want to ask you 2 things. Number 1, Travis Etienne. Did I say it right?
Yes.
He is a guy who was supposed to be the next big thing, was kind of a flop, and then Sunday he ran for 143 yards or something. He had his breakout game in week 1, and then they traded or cut. I remember Tank Bigsby immediately after, right? And so they're like, "Hey, Travis, you are our guy. Finally, you earned what we always knew you could do." And I think that's big. I think for a guy like the blonde guy with the long hair, Trevor Lawrence, right? I think
Justin
for a guy
Trevor.
like him, I think for a guy like him, having a real good ground game is going to be massive. I think it's going to be massive because he still has not settled down. He still does not look, in my mind, he does not look, confident back there. He's not. His arm, his talent has not
polished.
translated. He's not. Well, I don't know. I mean, his mechanics might be okay. I don't know, but he does not look comfortable doing the things that we know physically he can do at a very high level. Having a running back who can consistently help them move the chains is going to be huge. And let's be honest, the Bengals had a great, amazing game against the run last week, but last year, I mean, they were terrible.
We were horrible.
So I
against the
think that if I'm Jacksonville, I'm trying out that newly, kind of revised Bengals rush defense. And yeah,
Why not?
that's one thing. I want to know what you think about Travis and Tiane.
Yeah, naturally, that's probably what the Jaguars are going to do naturally because that's in Liam Cohen's nature, right? And the first thing, that was kind of a big deal when we hired Liam. You look at the Bengals, or excuse me, not the Bengals, the Bucks, where he came from. The Bucks were like 27th in run offense before he got there. When he got there, they were ranked like top 3 to 5. So he worked wonders for them. And that's part of why he got the job with Jacksonville is because the people who were in charge of hiring knew that the Jacksonville Jaguars need a run game to help Trevor Lawrence because for most of his career, and this is kind of not his fault, this goes on ownership and GMs and their coaching. For a lot of his career, he hasn't had the run game that you would like to compliment a young quarterback, right? He hasn't had these luxuries that some of the younger quarterbacks in the league have had. That being said, Liam Cohen has really, each week, me and Phil talked about this. Shout outs to Phil, my co-host. If you look at dating back to the preseason, each week, whether we were looking at the negatives or the positives, every week, one thing that we could say that was a positive was the running game. The running game every week dating back to the preseason and week 1 of the regular season has always been a positive. And that's why you get in a situation where they were able to trade Tank Bigsby. Their running back room was loaded. They drafted 2 running backs in Bashal Tootin and LaQuint Allen. And they love what they've seen out of them in the summer, and they love what they saw out of them week 1. And so they were in a position where, you got a guy in Tank Bigsby who was from the previous regime, who they don't have any ties to necessarily, where they were able to get rid of him. And then as for ETN, ETN always felt like a good fit for this Buck style of offense. And that's why, I never, really entertained those rumors. There was a lot of rumors, I'm sure you all heard them, right, about ETN may get traded, right? That was the big thing in the summer. Hey, call the Jaguars, see if you can get ETN from them. I was pump the brakes on that because after seeing what Liam Cohen has done, right, with the run game with the Bucks, I think he can give ETN a resurgence. And as you all saw week 1, and again, it was the Panthers, right? But as you all saw week 1, he went off. He looked like the Clemson Travis Etienne that we drafted in the first round.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I had another question.
Well,
What?
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, my next question was this. What does the Jaguars secondary look like in terms of matching up with, obviously, that is the strength of the team, Jamar Chase.
Well, I would say the
Higgins,
greatest receiving core in the NFL.
ever.
Humbly.
Well, let us not forget that. So we have Jamar Chase, which is he's everything. He is
my everything.
He's everybody's everything. But he's like
He's
a deep ball guy.
my everything.
I mean, he can make plays down the field. He can do the catch and run. He's like Terrell Owens and Randy Moss and Tyreek Hill all in one, really. And he's just so physical, but he's so fat. I mean, he's everything. T. Higgins is the physical guy. He can also get down the field, but he's the physical guy, right? But guess what? We have Mitch Tinsley, who is the hands guy.
Oh, okay.
And so, you just throw it up there, and he's going to rip it out of the air. We have Mitch Tinsley, right? We have, if he plays, we have Jermaine Burton, which is the speed guy. So, I mean, let me just say something. The Bengals receivers, obviously, they had a terrible game week 1. And what they can do.
Oh, come on.
What they can do.
Joe
like,
Burrow had a terrible game. It was Joe.
Poor Joe. Listen, what they can do, this team, nobody has seen. I just want to say that. What the receivers are capable of doing now is better than they've ever been. So, do the Jaguars have the defense, the secondary, to handle that?
No, I don't think so, to answer that question. Now, what I will say is their secondary is better than at least week 1, they played better than we expected.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about, 2 receivers of the magnitude of Chase and Higgins, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can't expect them to stay down too long.
No.
And it's to the point, actually, where I believe that what'll end up happening is, and this is not like insider's knowledge or anything, this is just me speculating, but I feel like what they'll probably end up doing is probably having to use Travis Hunter on the defensive side of the ball for that secondary. Now, what I will say is their secondary did play lights out, but again, it's the Bengals. Eric Murray had a great game. He looked like an all-pro almost, which is crazy to say because, like, during the preseason, he just kind of felt like he was just there. And then Jordan Lewis, he balled out as well. One of their free agent additions with Eric Murray as well. He was their biggest free agent addition because of just how much they paid him. But Eric Murray, who plays nickel, Jordan Lewis, who plays nickel, had a great game, had a one-handed pick, but they are going to be in a situation where they're up against the league's best. And again, when it comes to elite receivers like the 2 that we're discussing here, they won't stay down for too long. And as a matter of fact, they probably, like, you all can attest this, they might be in the film room getting cussed out right now to the point where, they will probably bounce back and they're going to come to the field with their hair on fire, like literally on Sunday after what you all witnessed this last Sunday.
So we've saved the most important question for last, James. And it goes like this. Many have speculated that the Cincinnati Bengals have suffered some sort of curse that was broken with the last playoff win and the Super Bowl appearance. Some have said that the Jaguars are cursed because of Shad Khan's yachts. He has 2 yachts named Kismet. And Kismet, we know, means like fortune or like fate, really. Do you believe in the curse? That the Jaguars are cursed?
Yeah, it's something going on with that land there that the stadium is on.
Yeah, that's what
it
they
used
say.
to be a old
like,
shipyard.
You guys yell Duval.
Yeah, that land that the stadium's on, it used to be an old shipyard, and like you all probably have read the stories. Like you have to put so much soil on top of it because it's contaminated. Of course, like the fans and the players are safe now. Obviously they got enough soil on top of it. But yeah, me and Phil joke about it all the time. It's something up with that land that they put the stadium on. Our hope is that Liam Cohen can reverse the curse. And also, too, we're hoping that when we get our new renovated stadium, which will come with a roof on it, that'll just eliminate all the bad mojo that we've seen there. But, I mean, since we've gotten Liam Cohen and James Gladstone, so far, so good. We've had a run of good luck so far this offseason. To say I'm going to knock on wood here.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
No, you better.
I will knock on wood. But hopefully it continues.
This should create some good feelings between us, James. Every time I see the Jaguars play some other team, AFC team that's not us, I'm usually on their side. And that has everything to do with Trevor Lawrence's hair.
Yes.
As a bald man, I respect it.
It is beautiful. It is probably too beautiful. It's probably holding him back. But listen, James, before you go, I know you have to go and go study the film. Like we do. We have to get back to the film.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of studying film. I've been studying film all week.
But what I want to ask you is for your prediction for the game. Your official prediction and the player of the game.
With a number, James.
Yeah, number. Yeah,
Final score.
please.
Oh wow. Okay. So a prediction. You know what? I'll take the Jags riding their wave of momentum. I initially had them losing this game. If you look at my like postseason or preseason, should I say, prediction when the schedule first came out. But just looking at how the Bengals looked against the Browns, you know, that they do have a chance. What I will say is that I expect them to still, as I already mentioned, come out strong or at least stronger offensively. And I'm talking about the Bengals here. So I do think like we could be in store for a little bit of a higher scoring game than we saw last week. But give me the Jags. I'll say the Jags. We'll go Bengals 28, Jags 30, something like that. We'll go with that.
That's a good one.
Wow. I like it. I like that he's confident in his team. The team that I'm not supposed to say on the show, but he actually operates. He is an insider, and he is obviously going to feed them all the stuff we say, so be careful, Dr. Hodgie.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything I say is considered top secret and very valuable.
Right.
So
Hey, let's just hope it's no fighting like it was back in not Doug Peterson, but
AJ
the Doug
Green
Marone
versus
days. Yeah,
Jalen
cat
Ramsey.
fight.
Let's-
You know
let's-
what's so funny? You know what's so
Stop
funny
Jaguars.
about that? Excuse me for saying this, James, but AJ Green is such a good person, and Jalen Ramsey is such a pest that AJ Green could punch him in the head, and nothing happened to him. Only AJ Green to Jalen
people
Ramsey
love
could do
AJ
that.
Green had a great reputation. He was a gentleman.
And then I loved in the Super Bowl where the Bengals burned Jalen Ramsey over and over and over. They made them look like toast. It was beautiful, just because of AJ Green.
Hey, I love AJ Green. I'm a Georgia Bulldogs fan.
Oh, that's
by the way.
right. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
So I love
So
AJ
you know
Green.
him. Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
are big
yeah. That was
AJ
the-
Green fans here.
That was one of the only times I was rooting against him, is when
That's
he was against
amazing.
Jalen. But no, like I don't think Jags fans were mad about Jalen getting cooked in the Super Bowl. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Now
exactly.
you know what? If you ask us now, ever since he went to Miami and he's been a free agent, when he was traded,
Yeah.
we finally gotten over it. Him being traded to the Rams like a year or two ago. But during the Super Bowl, the time of the Super Bowl, we probably were eating it up when you all had the game you had against them.
Yeah.
It was great. But Dr. Hodgie, please.
Dr. Hodgie. So, you know my theory, which is that Joe Burrow is the greatest quarterback in the NFL when hot. And he's a pretty okay one when not, but he's not good enough. And I think, unfortunately, the problem with Joe is he needs the pressure to be on. So you have to ask yourself a question when you go into this Jaguars game. Is the pressure on or off? It's actually off. Why is it off? Because he just won a game. So this is almost like another first game of the season. And so Joe's going to play worse, I think, in game 2 than he did in game 1. And you're going to see a very low-scoring game. I would say 2 touchdowns, 14, and he will be outscored by Goldilocks Trevor Lawrence, who's going to score 21. And that 21st, the last 7 points will be scored in the last 1 minute of the game, where Trevor Lawrence will be tied, and then Trevor Lawrence will win at the very end. And that, my friends, is my horoscope.
Wow. Well, I think you are both on the right path here. Let's be honest. The Bengals put up 17 points against the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns had to miss a field goal at the end. I love Joe Flacco. I think he's underrated because of his postseason accomplishments. I think people don't give him enough credit. But he's 40 years old. He can't really move.
No.
And he was going down the field and he was about to score, right?
Yeah.
So this defense had a great game against a terrible team. I don't want to read too much into this defense right now. The offense had an absolute terrible game. Yes, against the team they match up poorly with, but it was an absolutely terrible game.
Yeah.
The coaching did not show me any signs of this team being ready to take the next step. The Jaguars, meanwhile, finally found a running game.
Yeah.
And they won by double digits. They won by, 16 points. So for those reasons, I'm actually predicting, James, you're going to love this, but that the Jacksonville Jaguars will wipe the floor with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow.
Yeah. And that the final score will be 34-10 Cincinnati.
Hold on, wait.
Wow.
Oh, stop. This is
Go
very
ahead,
confusing.
Dr. Hodgie. Go ahead.
Are you confused as I am, James? Because he said that the Jaguars were going to wipe the floor with
Wipe
the
the floor.
Bengals.
Yes.
But then when he went to the score,
Right.
he had the Bengals winning 34-10.
Yeah.
Can you please clarify what's going on? Because
Sure.
I'm confused.
I'm confused that you are confused. But so when you show a lady, let's say, a very good time,
Yeah.
okay, you buy her a long flowing gown, you take her to the
By the way,
bar.
James, his idea of hanging out with a lady is entirely from Disney movies.
Yes.
He's never actually
Well,
been with a woman, if you catch my drift, in any capacity. Go ahead,
James,
Daniel.
please, we need to focus. But long flowing gown, you take them to the ball.
Right.
Right? And you sway and what happens there is that you're wiping the floor with their gown. You're dragging it along the floor. And so when you show somebody a very good time, you give them everything that they want, you take good care of them, like the Jaguars secondary will do for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They will just let them have their way, show them a very good time, and they're going to run up the score against them. So that is why the Jaguars will wipe the floor with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Because we are their lady and they are our man.
Yeah. Well, we are their princess, yes.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I want to, James, look, you have an amazing podcast.
Yeah, we're
with
usually
our
much
good
better than
friend
this, James.
Phil, our good friend Phil. And I hope everybody subscribes to your podcast, Touchdown Jaguars Podcast, which they can find
On the internet.
On the
Oh yeah,
internet.
we're anywhere and everywhere.
Anywhere you find your podcast. That's the Apple podcast. That's the Snitcher
Spotify,
podcast.
Yeah.
you name it.
Yeah.
We got a website too, touchdownjaguars.com, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, you name it, we're there. And as
we
we
can
always say, if we aren't there, let us know what platform we aren't on, and we'll find a way to get on there.
Well, I just want to say, we just got a massive donation that is going to change the course of the show from Pete Crawley, $5. Low-key been a Jags fan since the Brunel, Jimmy Smith, Fred Taylor days. I think it's the unis, but it's Who Day Sunday, baby. Bengals 30-24. So
Pete Crawley.
I want to thank Pete Crawley, obviously, for being a massive supporter of the show, as always. And I want to take our patrons, if you will, our patrons, and our patron of the week for the 15th straight week, I believe, is Kyle P.
Kyle P.
He is still the patron of the
Salute
week.
him.
Salute Kyle P. because he's our last new patron. That's how it works.
The last
And so he's the
patron.
reigning patron king. But you can go patreon.com/theedgeofsports. But lastly, I want to say, I don't know if you knew about this, Dr. Hodgie.
No.
You did not know about this.
About what?
I received some emails. Yes. That we got some pretty big awards. So the Million Podcasts organization, sorry, James, can't really see you there, but the Million Podcasts organization named us one of the top 5 Cincinnati Bengals podcasts in the entire world.
Top 5?
I'm not even kidding. You can look it up. Million Podcasts.
And since it's top 5, we could very
we
well
are
be
number
number
5.
1 on that 5. Because
Yes.
when they say top 5,
Who
it
knows?
means you're in the 5. So we don't know if we're 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but I'm going to assume we're 1.
Well, Feed a Spot named us the number 25 podcast about Cincinnati in general, not just Bengals.
Well, of
About
course, that's all we ever talk about is Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. We're in the top 25 of all Cincinnati.
Why has no one ever told me
podcasts.
about these awards? I have a tux.
I just told you about it. But it's really important. We are finally getting, because the money is great. Let's just be honest. The money is great, but the awards are how we can kind of, we can, when we talk to our colleagues or our, let's say our rivals, and
Yeah.
I don't want to name them,
No. Like James.
but like James Rapien or whatever. I don't want to name their names.
James Rabin, yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You live to be an older man like myself. And it's just nice to know people recognize your work.
Exactly.
Because we've been around, we've had this show, James, since 2003.
13.
13.
Yeah.
And that is like many years.
Many years.
Many, many years we've been doing this.
Well-
finally we get the recognition.
James was 4.
James was only 4 years old when we started. I remember he was just a little baby.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate those kind words that I was 4. I wish I was 4 at that time. I would have been dealing with less Jaguars heartache if I was 4. I wouldn't.
Well, you know what's funny is that if you were watching a Bengals podcast, it would have been ours because it had cartoon drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
Nice.
like the Sesame Street of sports shows.
But listen, I want to thank James. I want to thank our patrons.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody
Everybody,
affiliated with
the
the show.
world.
The
Yeah.
lights, the production, the writing, the research.
The
Everybody.
secretaries, a team of secretaries.
The secretary is John, who's not even on the show. I
And
want to thank
they're
him.
just in charge of bringing Dadio food.
Yes, and they're so good at it. But definitely subscribe to James' podcast and check him out on Twitter, and we will see what his film shows us about the Bengals. Are they really as good on defense as we think they are? That's all we have for this show.
Thanks, James.
Thank you so much, James. We'll see you next time. So long. Esfiti. Paz.